Hey guys, we're back this week for another show. I wanted to attack something. You know, if you've been watching this for any amount of time, that I have always done everything I can to share the best information with you. My number one job is to give you as much information as possible to make the smartest decision about relocating to Southwest Florida, what to expect when you get here, what's life going to be like, and heck, even what kind of homes you're going to find, what kind of money you're going to spend. We're going to dive real deep into that topic today because of all the conversation that's out there right now about the real estate market. I don't know how much you've seen. If you've been on YouTube for any amount of time, you know that there are a lot of people out there talking about all the doomsday stuff, and they're talking about all this exploding inventory, and they're talking about defaults and crashes and all this stuff that's going to happen. No, it's not. So if you search long enough, I've told you this before, if you search long enough, you'll find all the things that will either convince you or change your mind. I'm here just to tell you the truth. And then I'm going to tell you what I'm doing to back up this truth. And today we're going to just jump into the topic to counter what I've been seeing. And we're going to get to the truth behind this exploding inventory in Florida. And we're getting after that next. All right, guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen so that I can back up everything I'm talking about. You know me, I'm never just going to say something and then expect you to believe it. So you'll see all kinds of things like this particular ad here saying that Florida homeowners are desperately trying to move out. Well, are they? I'm going to show you something that might not make that a fact. As you can see here, you're going to find posts all over the place. They're going to find all kinds of information. And look, 4925. This is the number of real estate listings. Okay. Now, we're talking about the whole state of Florida again? All right. Well, I'm fine with that. Now, breaking down migration. Net migration is the difference between people moving in and people moving out. And in this particular case, you will note that migration into versus out of Florida. And if we look at the numbers here, you've heard me report previously within the last couple of years, it was 1,000 people a day moving into Florida. And yes, people do leave, obviously, whether they go back to family, don't like the weather anymore, just want to change, whatever that is. But if you come all the way out to the end here, we're not even going to discuss the fact that we've always been over 100,000 people more coming than leaving every single year since this report started in 2012. And now we're finding it's up to, almost a 250,000 number of people staying versus leaving. So once again, where are the leaving people? Where is this mass exodus out of Florida? I just don't get it. And as I show you more of this information, you're going to say, wow, I really can't trust what I'm reading. This gentleman here is Jason Hartman, and he is somebody that's been involved in real estate for a couple of decades. And one of the things that I found in listening to him was he's talking about for a crisis real estate market, for a crash to happen, there has to be one significant factor, and that is going to be distressed sellers. Now, distressed sellers mean I can't pay my bills anymore. I can't pay my mortgage. I am late month after month after month. And funny enough, we're going to get to the delinquency rate here in just a minute, but delinquencies are down historically as well. Yes, we had historic interest rates not too long ago, and now we're seeing that adjustment to a normal range, which a lot of people are freaking out. We're not expecting 7%. We still want 3 and 4%. We have to remember that was a historic change. So you can't expect the historic change to stay around forever. That's why they tell you, make decisions, make smart decisions when this stuff is happening. Anyway, back to this chart that I have here. So what Jason's saying is that this chart is showing 65% of the people out there with mortgages right now are 4% or lower. 24% are 3% or lower. This is why they're not in a hurry to sell their homes. This is why inventory could actually be a lot better if these folks wanted to make a change, but they don't. They don't want to jump out of this. This is a great rate, right? Why would I ever do that? Also, there's 42% of the mortgages out there that have, 42% of the homeowners out there have no mortgage at all. Therefore, they have no reason whatsoever to move. So to go beyond this, we want to also look at new home sales starts. Well, they're up, right? So new homes are still being built. We're still behind. And you're going to see here as we keep going, home buyers, they're definitely still in the market. They're still looking for favorable terms. It's not as easy as it once was as far as rates go, but experts do think we're going to see a little bit of a tick down throughout this year. And we know that homes are still being built. So there's going to be availability. But this whole thing about exploding inventory, I'm going to show you why it's false. We're going to be on that in just a minute. Before that, let's see, median prices. Median prices are up. So everybody thinks, well, if interest rates are up, then the sales have to be down and the prices have to come down, right? Well, that's not the case. Prices are still climbing. So you have to take this information and understand what it means to you. If you're somebody needing a home, this isn't about wanting, because we can all want a home. If it doesn't fit, we don't do it. If you need a home, like most of my buyers are relocation buyers. And my team, we are here. Literally, one of our biggest purposes is to help people relocate. It's a completely different process. We have to teach you all the information that we know about the area and help guide you through the process and put you in the best place for your family and lifestyle. So if you need that help, make sure, again, you're calling, texting, and emailing so that me and my team can help you get on your way to that goal. But through this process, you're going to have professionals that will guide you through this stuff. So all this stuff I'm showing you, I spend time researching what the market's doing so that I can best inform you. When I look at my MLS, which we're going to in a minute, you're going to see what I'm telling you is factual. And if we keep going ahead here, it says inventory remains tight in Florida. Well, wait a second. We have an explosion of inventory, right? Well, this is saying as of February 23rd that it's still tight. So which is it? Is it tight? Is it exploding? You got to figure that out yourself. Anyway, one of our biggest builders here, D.R. Horton, you can see prices are in the threes. And this is for 1,500, 1,600, 1,700, 1,800 square feet. You can get a nice size home. In fact, I live in this one right here, this 1828 Cali, and that price right now is still under the 400 mark. This could be considered affordable. I know right now they're running a bunch of specials on rates and things of that sort. So if you'd like to discuss this, I'd be happy to do so. Again, I live in their home and I'm considering something that I'm going to talk about in just a minute. So if you hang on here, I'll tell you why I don't believe any of this other crap that's being talked about out there either. So as we continue moving forward, we can see that, hey, the experts have now changed their revised forecast for this year. Look what's going on. Everybody, every single entity out there is showing an increase. They're showing a much bigger sales number than what was originally thought of. Now, does this mean it's going to happen? No, certainly doesn't mean it's going to. They're just saying that the conditions are basically saying that this is more likely than their previous forecast. And if we keep going, the reason behind why this crash can't happen is lending regulations are steady. They're very tight. They changed everything they did in the lending arena. You can't just fog a mirror and get a loan now. Previously, you could. And I know of, factually that's the case because there was a point where I had deposits in on multiple homes to be built at one time. And there were no checks and balances. There were no guidelines keeping that from happening. And thankfully, the market started shifting at the time and it didn't all go through. But that was happening with so many people because there was nobody really watching what was going on. Now, housing supply is lower than ever before. So once again, if we have this abundance of exploding inventory, why is the supply so low? We still need places to live. And Florida is one of the most sought after states to go to. Relocation to Florida is still one of the tops. Here's the other thing. Look at this. Remember the 42% of the people that had no mortgage at all? Equity's at an all-time high. This is, again, historic. So these things are just saying that there's nothing that's contributing to everything that you're hearing out there. Now, this is going to be fun. This is why I wanted to show you our MLS. So here's a listing that has been out for 177 days. You see here, it says 2024 is the date it was built. Well, 725 is what they're asking right now, okay? And if I look at the history, there's this little button right here that will let me go into the history. And what this does is it shows me this whole home already sold. Now, wait a second. It said it was a 2024 build, right? How was it sold in 2023? And it was in May of 2023 for $550,000. 4 months later, it went back at $725,000. Tell me what new construction home you know that has everything in it would go up that much money in 4 months. This is not an accurate listing. This is somebody trying to monopolize and take advantage of the conditions out there and try to make a huge profit on a property. I mean, maybe they were part of the build and they just said, hey, let's try to throw it up here for this. This is contributing to that exploding inventory. It's false. This isn't real. If I do the comps on this home right now, this is not going to wash out. The 550 will. The 550 was the real number. 725, overinflated, and that's why it's 177 days so far. Now, next property, you're going to love this one. We see one here, 4 Mile Cove, 686 days in the market. Do we really realize how long that is? That's almost 2 years that this thing has been sitting out there. I'm going to show you why. So we have this at 1.795. That is a nice big number, right? And you're saying, okay, well, it's a big home. So I could possibly understand that. Let's look at the history. 3 years ago, so in November of 2020, it sold for $715,000. Did you see that? $715,000. Remember, it's currently at 1.7. So where did this $1 million come from in 3 years? Oh, let's go find out. Let's see what happened to the home. All right, so this is our property appraiser. We can find properties, find out what they did. This is the building construction permit. Now remember, they bought it in 2020, November of 2020. So anything that would have been done to build on it would be here in the records, right? So 19, nope, would have already been done. So we go to 2022, right? Plumbing. It says plumbing was done. That was the one permit that's there. Do you want to see what that plumbing was? Can you see this right here? What's that say? Lawn irrigation. So $1 million for lawn irrigation. Now, would you say this is a real listing? I mean, will a property go up $1 million for irrigation in 3 years? Kind of unlikely, right? So once again, false numbers. This is just 2 examples of what is in our MLS right now that's contributing to these high numbers of inventory or the high change in inventory. People are out there trying it out, seeing what will happen. Another thing I want to show you, this is, let me go back to the 24 hours. So in 24 hours, we had 144 new listings, right? So these are new on the market. 102 closed. This is actual people got their keys and moved into their house. And another 193 went under contract. Now, some people will say, yeah, but 37 came back on the market. Even if we take 37 off of the 193, if we're looking at approximately 155 and 102, that's 257 properties with 144 new. That means we're still at a deficit. Now, look at a weekly time frame on this. This is where it gets ridiculous. Not only do we have 977, let's just round it to 1,000, right? 1,000 closed, another 1,200 pending, with a grand total of 1,300 coming new on the market. Oh, at the same time, 2,500 homes were price decreased. Why? Because people know they're too high. They have to make adjustments. And the adjustments we're seeing are not 5,000, where they're not 3,000, 1,000. These are like 20,000 at a time. So this is the major cause for all these numbers being so skewed and so upside down and so wrong. But let's keep going. All right. Oh, real quick while I'm on it, flood policies. If you're thinking about needing to save money, a couple things that we can do. We can at many times transfer the flood policy from the previous owner to the new buyer, and this will grandfather the rate in for you. So once you get this turned over to you, now you're going to stay at that rate as the previous buyer had. And that is a huge benefit, cost savings. We've done the we've done a number of transactions and compared the numbers, a new policy versus that grandfathered number, and it's a pretty big savings. So if you have the opportunity to take over somebody's flood policy, absolutely do it. The other thing that I did find out is, and this is because of what's going on with me, and I'm going to get to this in just a minute, but new construction homes, and the ones I'm looking at are probably in the 2,000 square foot range. A new construction home with all its code changes, and this is aside from all its efficiencies, the insurance on them right now is approximately $1,200 a year. So anybody that wants to say how expensive insurance is in Florida, you're not talking to the right people. And I'm going to go a step further. Melissa shared with me today, she had to shop insurance because her first phone call, she almost had a heart attack. Literally found out that her home that she was buying, her dream home on this beautiful Gulf Access Canal, was going to be $10,000 for the year for her insurance. And she literally choked on that. So kept calling. Next one she found, $4,000. That's why you need to shop around. You can't just accept whatever rate you're given. If it's this important to you and the savings are that important to you, shop the rate. The interest rates are really not that terrible. And that, again, is for a Gulf Access pool home. And it's all the way west. So it's very close to Matlacha Pass. You'd think, well, that could easily be more money, but you need to shop it. Just please. And if you need help with that, let us know. We can help you do that. All right, let's continue. I was talking about some things going on with me, right? So one of the things that's going on in this market with the increased interest rates is people have to learn to compromise. They need to, let me go through. They need to compromise on what they want in a home because that higher interest rate has now lowered your purchasing power, correct? So if you have to lower the amount that you're going to be spending on, maybe you need to take some things away. And I'm going to tell you why I'm saying this right now. I am a prime example of this happening. And the reason behind it is I was looking at a home and I wanted specific things, right? I wanted a 3-car garage. I wanted to be on water and sewer. I wanted a pool. I wanted a canal. I want, right? So this is what I was looking at. And this builder is absolutely fantastic. So it has nothing to do with the builder. In fact, I know this builder very well. Great product. His homes are done well. And you can see here the detail of everything as we go around the home is going to be all there. You got your tray ceilings. You've got the granite countertops, lots of different lighting, beautiful backsplash, gray cabinets. So a lot of stuff going on here, right? And you have to remember, this is also on a freshwater canal. So you have the freshwater canal, you have a pool, you have all this space. This home right here is about 2,000 square feet, and it's considered northwest, but it is converted for the water and sewer already. Nice thing about that conversion already happening is that the assessments are almost paid off. So I think the balancing assessments on this are about 9,000. So that could be paid off at closing if you like, but look at this. Beautiful south-facing exposure too, right? So all the boxes are being checked. Well, you know, sometimes it's great to think that you might want this, but at the same time, you have to compromise. Once you start getting the information together, you get the payment together, you get the insurances together, you get all that stuff together, and then you start to say, well, is that really for me? And you know what? I started to ask myself that question as well. So what I did is I went and looked at this home. So now it's a different situation. There's no pool. There's water, as you can see. It's going to have a massive, what we're going to call lake views. Anybody from the north, you know these as ponds. They're just very big ponds. But the one thing about Cape Coral, we don't have many of these. And some of them are Gulf Access, which then just totally elevates the price. But this is a new construction build with impact glass, the whole nine. It's a community, so you're getting all the amenities. You're getting good outdoor space. You're getting 2,200 square feet on this particular home. So compromise in my case was literally having to change entirely what my plan was. I gave up the 3rd car garage. However, this particular floor plan does have a 32-foot garage in length. Yes, let me skip ahead for you. You see all the touches? Nice big shower. Garden tubs aren't really necessary these days, but I'm going to skip ahead here to get you. All right. Somebody kept leaving the toilets open. There, this garage, 32 feet long. So if you have a big truck, a long truck, and you need to put it away, this is ideal. If you have a lot of toys, this is ideal. It's not as common to find 3-car garages in some communities because of the fact they take up a lot of space widthwise. These sites are not very big widthwise. As you see, the homes are relatively close together, but as long as your backyard space, your view is all intact, then that really isn't a problem. So just like everything I tell you to do whenever you're working with me, I follow the same rules. I drove the neighborhood. I drove both neighborhoods. I checked out both homes. I checked how close things were to me. I made sure all that stuff made sense to me, and then I had to make an educated decision. That's all I'm asking you to do. Follow the process, and you will find yourself in the same vein of being in the home that you actually want. I don't want you to settle. That's why I want to tell you up front, when we do a portal, I'm going to give you a list of homes that are going to be as close to what you're telling me you want. So don't say, maybe I could do it. We don't want that. We want favorites. We want the ones like, yeah, I love that home. And then from there, we'll adjust if necessary. Anyway, back to this. Barbara Corcoran, we already know who she is, right? She's one of the sharks. She makes a lot of money, and she's in the real estate market. And what is she saying? It's a great time to buy a second home. Why would somebody say that right now? People shouldn't be afraid of buying a second home, is what she said. You'll always make money. And guess what? The reward, as she's saying, far outweighs the risk. And in many cases, it certainly can. When I buy that next home, I'm renting this one out. This one has a 2.875 interest rate. I could live here comfortably for a very long time and be very proud of my rate. But is the pride in a rate going to do anything to change my future? No, right? I have to do that. So you have to take a risk. You have to step out. I believe right now is a great time to buy a home because of the fact that so many buyers are on the fence or just sitting back and waiting. The best thing about my business that comes from all of you out here in YouTube land is that the people that are coming here are relocating. Many of them do not want to rent. They either don't want to be in an apartment and share walls. They don't want the rules and regulations of an HOA. They don't want to pay somebody else's mortgage. And even if it's for just a year or two to get started, they're okay buying something so that they can start building equity in something. It might turn into their rental property, for God's sake. We don't know. But you have one of the all-time financial real estate people that's telling you, go ahead and get a second home, rent it out, let somebody else pay it for you. It's the best nest day you can have. And I'm going to tell you another thing that you need to be thinking about. If you're somebody like me, who all your money is stuck in the market behind all these other investments, what happens if that market goes sideways? Right. So does all the value in there. So start looking at other assets where you can put it into, and real estate has proven to be one of the top assets out there. That's why I'm jumping in, and I'm encouraging you, if it's something you can do affordably, something that makes sense for you, it's a great time, and I'd love you to take you along the process with me. All right. And here, this is where we're talking about historical rates too, okay? So everybody's wanting the rates to go back down. We're not sure what that's going to do, but here you are looking at from 1971 to 2024. And if you look where we are here, half of history preceding us is at this rate or higher. So that dip you saw back in, well, I guess it was 2020-ish. Well, that dip we saw, was that anywhere back here? Does anybody see anything back here? So why are we expecting it to come back, especially come back so quick? Look how long it took for that to happen. You know what this all followed? The Great Recession, this massive recession we had in 07, 08, and all the way through into 11 and 12 until things started to correct themselves. And by the way, we lost all those years of building homes. So all that inventory that we would have had, poof, gone. And you wonder why we're short on homes right now. We need homes more than anything in this country. And that's why it was so important to show you the MLS and what's going on there. It's all fake. It's just not real. So if you want some professional help, get a comparable analysis done of a home you're considering. Make sure the values are there. In fact, that first home that I showed you that had the pool and the canal, the one I was considering, I did the comps on it. I couldn't find the number they were asking. That's what made me even look another direction. So we have to do the comps for you. We have to be able to get into the system and check what these values mean for you. When I'm helping you purchase a home, I treat it as though it's my own. I absolutely want to get you the best deal because that's the way you're going to appreciate what I've done for you. And you're going to tell more people, right? And I'm going to feel great knowing I got you the best possible deal we could get you. Anyway, let's see. What else do we have here? Here we go. Delinquency rates. We talked about delinquency, right? And if you look right here in the highlighted section, we are, again, historic lows on on the delinquency. It's just such a small number. So without having all that delinquency, we can't have a crash. So if anybody would like to give maybe some thought processes down below in the comments, maybe I missed something. Maybe none of this information is true. Maybe you can send me the information that counters all of this. I'd love to see it because once again, I believe this is it. I believe this also because the number of buyers that I'm working with right now, and I'm not even talking about the ones that are coming. I'm talking about the ones that are under contract, can't wait to close their homes so they can live in Florida. It's a real thing. And relocation seems to be a massive, massive market. Now, the people that are local that already have a home, they don't have to make that change. There are people like me. I don't have to make the change. This is a choice. And if you're somebody that just wants to better your future and give yourself something extra right now with all the incentives going on, I'm telling you what, that builder, they're paying all the closing costs. I happen to get a commission, so that's going to help with my down payment. They're also doing manager specials. So if the home is finished, if the inventory is done and ready to go, you're going to get potentially a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 savings because that home's sitting and ready to go. Now, if you're interested in any of this information, please reach out to me. I can help you go through that process. They'll let me represent you. You will have somebody by your side the entire time. If there's anything that I haven't discussed in here that you are interested in knowing more about, check out one of these other videos. And if there's anything that I can answer beyond those videos, you got to do what everybody else is doing. Call, text, or email because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.